welcome back to the channel. Moving on from the last episode on the Triumph, like I say, we got more done. It was nice to actually get some more parts cleared off the bench. Unfortunately, I've now reloaded the bench back up. There's a few more bits. I've actually taken the chain guard off because obviously I want to give that a good clean up. Also, I managed to find the rectifier and the adapter plate that will hold it, so I can have a look at where that's located, because obviously I didn't take this apart, so it's difficult to actually work out where it's actually going to sit. But it does answer my questions to the actual leads from the alternator that were running out through the bottom of the engine, how I was going to get them up to the top. Obviously these are the three connectors, so it needs to sit in a place where the leads can drop down through to the bottom. So I've got an adapter plate as well. Also, I mentioned a few episodes ago that this is the actual fuel pipe connector. As you can see, it's in a pretty sorry state. I do have some fresh tube, so we're actually going to take this one apart, and actually I need to keep obviously these end connectors, so we're going to clean those up. So I need to take it apart and then actually put in the new tube, and then we can get that fitted. Obviously that's the reason why I couldn't fit the airbox, because how it mounts on the carb. So it'll actually sit, the actual connector I'll show you in a second, will actually sit in this recess here. So let me show you what I've got on the bench and then how we're actually going to fit it to the bike. So obviously I've managed to find the rectifier. That's the plate. Again, luckily actually labelled up. So this is the state of the actual fuel hose. Obviously I need to, that's the actual filter that slots in. So these ends we need to take off, clean up, and we've got our fresh pipe and the crimp. I say chain guard's off, want to give that a clean up. I've been having a look this morning of where to locate this actual rectifier, because as you remember, I don't know if you can quite see, but the three wires poke out through the bottom, so the only way is actually bring the leads down through here. So if anything, the sensible place would be located there. So I can use that long screw from through the mudguard, and then have the bracket going up, so it'll sit that way. So I'm happy I know where that goes. Obviously I want to take the mudguard, rear mudguard needs to come out. You see the state of it. We're actually going to give that a clean up. Did actually do a test sample area there, so that's what it was, that's what it is. I mean, it's difficult in this light because it is quite faded, so we're going to take off this mudguard, take out the tail light, and then clean all that up. Then we've got the nice jumble of wires, but say most of them seem to be actually labelled up, which is good. Obviously I need to check the actual wiring diagram just to confirm. And then we have the mystery couple of wires, they were hanging loose. Still got the wiring here to connect. But no, I did a bit of playing around this morning earlier on before I actually started filming, just to see where I could locate this. Well, as I say, that's the connection for the actual fuel hose. Connects over that. So as you can see with the recess, if that's actually fitted at that angle, there's enough room to get that connection in, and then it's the two that go up to both fuel taps. So one of the reasons why I didn't actually put in the airbox. So let me move things to a side and then we'll start taking this apart. Right, so basically with this I've got one chance at doing this. So I have got the new ends, so they'll be fitted on, and then we can use the crimp tool to crimp that in place. So as I say, there's only enough fuel pipe basically for one attempt, so fingers crossed. I don't know whether I'll be able to. Just be able to pull these out, hopefully. You know, I need to clean these ends up, but be very, very careful because it's the only ones we've got. That's the first one. May actually have to cut. Didn't really want to cut because I need to use these as a length of how much hose I need to cut and in the right place, because we don't want it too long but we don't want it too short. So literally let me get these, may have to use the crimp to actually uncrimp them. Let me get these taken apart. I'll get these parts all cleaned up and then we can look at reassembly. As I say, first one's off, so it's just getting these ends out. Right, that wasn't as bad as I expected. So now I've actually got the pipes out, managed not to cut them. So that one's come off short, that one's come off the long. So now we just need to measure up a piece of hose. We'll test the ends just to see if it's the right size. Yeah, I think that should work, but as I say, it is obviously this is expanded over the years, so I'd imagine the actual core of the pipe is the same. So I may need to take a little bit out just to get these in, but let me get these cleaned up and then we'll cut the pipe using our two pieces of hose. Right, so that's all the ends now cleaned up. I've actually managed to get the crimp ends on. The problem I had was the actual hole was slightly too small on these particular ones. They are slightly smaller than the originals, but they are the right diameter for the hose. So I just had to take a small file and just take out a little bit, just so they fit over. I'm probably going to have to expand the hose slightly at one end. But obviously I need to now cut this to match this, which is absolutely solid. That's not bending anywhere. So I need to bend this basically to make, if it's a little bit longer, I'm not too worried. And then the same for this one. So let me get these two cut. Measure probably about 5 times, cut once, because that is all I have. Alright, so hose is cut. That one's a really weird shape, so that took a while to actually get. Right, next job is actually start getting these ends actually into position. And then bring in the crimp tool. Now I can crimp these down. You can see a thin crimp line. We'll have a go. I've got 2 spare. So that's the next job. Start remaking this fuel pipe. Right, so that's the other end on. I actually found it easier. Just a bit of lubrication, a bit of WD, and that slid in nicely. As I say, I'm not going to crimp yet until these are all in position, and then I can work out the actual angle of which way it needs to go. So now exactly the same for the other side. I'm going to lubricate this end, flare this slightly, and then that one should fit, and we'll do the same on the other end. That's in position. So as I say, I've left these loose at the moment so I can bend and turn them to where I need to. But basically that has replaced these 2 old pipes, which are solid, with brand new, more flexy. They will go solid in time. But that's another job ticked off the list. To say I want to fit this first with the tank, have a look at that, and then I can use the crimp tool just to actually press down and crimp them into place. Right, so I've just popped the tank back on, so we can now have a look. So obviously one will connect there. filter. Alright, so just pop the filter in. Right, so for now I've actually connected the rear pipe and looped it underneath. And that pipe there. That seems to work. So you can see the pipe at the back. It's curving round and in. And then that one, because obviously there's a gap there, but there's a rubber bush that fits in. So I'll do some more research on that just to make sure, because it could be that one just folds around too into that port. Maybe I have got them the wrong way round, but that seems to fit and it seems to work. So next job we'll go onto the chain guard. Give that a clean up. It's actually not that bad. Then we can install the actual switch. We need the spring that connects into that part of the actual rear brake. The plastic, the rubber cover that fits over where the bolt goes, which fits through there. And then the two nuts that will hold that switch in place. So let me get this cleaned up and get it polished. There's just a quick clean up, a little bit to do in the middle there where the switch goes. But that's come out really well. So I'll just do that little bit. We can get that fitted. I'm going to give this sort of clean up as well before that goes on, so the cleaning as I go. Then we'll get this mudguard off, tail light, and give that a good clean and polish the paint. Yeah, so happy with that one. So just that little bit there to do. Right, so now that's all nice and clean. That's now nicely hooked in the back, so I've just got to tighten that up. Now we just need to get the switch in place, which will fit there, and then we need the spring in place, which fits between the two. I just want to give that a quick clean up. And then we can get that bolt through there. Right, so in we go with the spring. And the two small nuts that hold that in place. Right, bottom one started to take, so I get a little spanner, loop the wiring round, and we just hook that up for now. So just a spanner just to tighten them two. But that is working. May run that wire behind. Looks better. Right, so just got to tighten that up, and that's another job. And then we can get the bolt to go through there. So I've now got the bolt through. It's just a washer. And a nut on the back. Now I can get that tightened up, and then we can fit the cap. So that's the rubber cap cover installed. Easiest way on that, start from the bottom, a little bit of WD, and it presses through. No rubbing, which is good. So I'll leave that wiring as is for now until we get to the wiring, because that will have to go up there. But for now we'll just tuck that through. Right, so let's get this mudguard off, and we can attack the mudguard. And the tail light. So everything's done on this side. So wiring I'm going to cover in an episode all by itself. And so we've still got to go back over cleaning, etc. So doing some of it as we go. Right, so the mudguard is just that screw there, two nuts there, bolt there, and two bolts there. We should be able to slide that out. Right, it's just two nuts for the tail light, because that connects over the actual frame, and then that should come out. Right, it took a while to actually get that out. Mudguard's out. Yeah, definitely needs a good clean up. That was the area I did earlier, just as a little test piece. Tail light as well. So that's the order of the bolts that came out. So that's the front of the mudguard, which is that one. And you've got the two in the middle. Then these two, which are from there. You've got two more at the back there. You've got the middle one. There's quite a few. And then the number plate bracket, which is all connected through the actual tail light. So now I can get in there more, give that a clean. I'll give that a clean off camera. I think next episode we'll start by cleaning this up. Actually try and get it to a lovely polished finish from that. But no, more done. I'll give the wheel a clean as well. Get all that out. Right, so thanks for joining me on that one. So we've got a little bit more done. I've taken some photographs of the actual fuel hose, the way I put it actually in. I'm going to cross-reference that to Google, see what I can find, have a look at other Triumph TR6s, so I can just cross-reference back whether that is correct. The obvious thing is I should have fitted the old one first to see how it loops around, but you know, again, simple mistake, learn as I go. I think that is the right way, but I'll get it double checked and then we'll come back to it. I don't want to crimp it until I'm sure. Nice to get all these parts out. And say, I do want to make sure this bike is clean, tidy, replace any nuts, bolts, washers, rusty that I can. So it is a full front to back, back to front sweep. Next episode we're going to crack onto the mudguard, so I'm going to give this a clean up. Don't want it mirrored, but just want it nice and clean. Make sure the wiring's okay, everything works, etc. As usual, any comments in the comments box below. Appreciate all your feedback, all your comments. I've said many times it helps me learn, it helps me grow. You pick up on things that sometimes I miss. I am trying to cover as much as physically possible in order to get this done. It is a big learning curve. The electrics, yeah, I'm really not looking forward to that bit, but the more I do it, the easier, hopefully, touch wood, it should become. Links to my Facebook page, if you want to pop across there, say hello, show me your project, show me what you're working on. Always interested to see what other people are doing, what they're working on. It's always nice to sort of chat, bounce ideas off, etc. So again, you can always contact me there. There are links to other videos at the end of the video, and as always, appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. Join me again next time. Cheers. Bye.